Yes, so hello everyone. My name is Carla. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer and Business Development Manager of Smart Containers Group. We're using blockchain to disrupt the logistics industry. Logistics is the engine of global trade. 70 million sea freight containers and 1 million air freight containers. They produce around 5 billion shipments a year. However, did you know that it is a very traditional industry who works mainly on paper base? You need over 200 manual documents and emails in order to conduct one shipment. 200. This is really a lot. I learned today from another person here that it costs more to process all these emails and documents than to do the actual shipping. So just imagine how much money you can save by putting this on a more modern infrastructure who could be blockchain. Since 1917, the cost of logistics have fallen year by year. The margins are really low and the logistics companies are facing difficult situations in financial terms. The consequence is that they try to scale and build centralized platforms, big SAP projects. However, it doesn't seem to work. DHL, for example, had to write down 2 billion in investment into their SAP platform because it just didn't work out. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but the CEO had to leave because of that project. So we really think that this is an industry that is ripe for disruption. And normally, it's not the big players who do the disruption, it's the small players, it's the outsiders. Now, in school, no one wants to be the outsider, but here, you really do. So it was Tesla who disrupted the market with the electric car, and it was not Mercedes. It was Apple who saved the music industry, not Sony. And it is Amazon who is disrupting the whole retail market today, with becoming a more and more integrated logistics player. And we want to do the same thing as Smart Containers Group. So what all these companies have in common is that they basically combine hardware and software in a new way to create new possibilities. These are the two founders. They cannot be here today because they see a client in Luxembourg today. This is Richard and Nico. And they both think that smart contracts will allow logistics to decentralize and become infinitely more efficient and sustainable. Their vision is to create a fully autonomous container that will be based on blockchain technology. So where are we today? We are a technology-leading container provider. So we're an up-and-running business. We're 5 years old. And today we provide hardware, so containers. We have the 4th largest container pool in pharmaceutical industry. We are built on very strong technological ground with over 50 man-years of R&D. And we have close to 100 patents. So this is really a high-tech container that you use for the air freight industry. How do you measure the performance of a container? It's how much temperature excursion that you face with this container. And last year, we had 0 temperature excursion. And in total, we can say it's 0.1%. Now, the market average is 8.5%. So we're 75 times better than everything you can find on the market. And therefore, our clients see us as the safest solution on the market. Of course, it's not the hardware that does it alone. We are having sensors all over the container who measure temperature, position, humidity, and so on. And we have the biggest IoT container fleet on the market to date in the air freight industry. So today we have 2 applications. One company is called Skycell. The other one is called Food Guardians. Skycell is doing the pharmaceutical space. It has the 4th largest container provider. We built up to be the 4th largest container provider in 5 years. And we reduce the costs of our clients of up to 20%. We are recognized as the safest system and very proud of what we have achieved. Food Guardians has just been founded we have been asked by clients for the last 3 years if we can use the same containers that we have in pharma, also for the food industry. And pharma doesn't like to share their containers, so we are building a second company. And in food, this is going to be even more impactful than in pharmaceuticals. Where do we want to go tomorrow? So as I told you before, we have a centralized system today when it comes to process logistical flows. And this is a problem because exactly this leads to this email flood that is completely ridiculous in today's world. We think that the solution is on the blockchain. We want to decentralize logistics and create an ecosystem which will be called LogiChain. Basically, instead of having one person sending around documents, why not attach all the documents to a virtual shipping parcel that everyone can access through an open source reader? So we said we are going to virtue the shipping parcel and put it on the blockchain. There will be documents that are open to the public. They will be on a public blockchain like Ethereum. And then there will be documents who are very important to be kept privately. So they will be on a permissive blockchain, like, for example, Hyperledger Fabric. This will create a decentralization of the system. It will reduce the amount of shippings, and therefore also CO2. And, of course, it will lower cost and free up manpowers. We are running an ICO to finance this. We are raising 40 million. We are emitting 2 coins. One is the Smart coin, which will help to scale both businesses, Skycell and Food Guardians. This will be a profit share token where you will get 20% of the dividends of Smart Containers Group. And the second one is the LogiCoin, where we raise only 4 million. We will build up the ecosystem and then transfer it into an independent foundation where every logistic players in the world should join. This is the management team. Obviously, you can see me in the middle. And this is the rest. And these are very, very high-level advisors to help us in the ICO process.
So thank you, Carla. The time passed, so you're pretty much in time, I would say. I would like to thank Carla, first of all, for the wonderful presentation. Thank you. And let's start the questions. So, is there any question from the jury and from the audience? So you see, I told you the timing is good. You explained everything.
Do I get 2 more minutes then?
Well, are there questions? Okay, there are questions over there. Yeah? Yeah, just one by one.
Do I introduce myself or no?
Oh, you can introduce, but you have
Please.
limited time.
Carla, well done. Very nice speech.
Thank you.
My name is Bogdan Stepanov. I represent Jenks Investment Fund. Can you please tell me where does the added value come from in your project?
Excuse me?
The added value, where does it come from? The added value.
Added value.
The added value. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the added value. So basically you have a running company and you invest into a running company, which would then, of course, give you profits. And since we have both companies scaling, you would get dividends from these companies. The other added value from the LogiChain is basically to drive down costs, which will then allow all logistic players to join, because it's super important to make these processes much more integrated and seamless, because right now we're spending way too much money on paperwork. If it goes all on the blockchain, it's going to be almost for free. So everyone has an incentive to join this ecosystem.
Creating a platform in a way.
I didn't understand
You're creating a platform in a way.
We do kind of create a platform, yes, but it's actually an open source logistics ecosystem which should be open for everyone. For us, the main trigger is not to have a revenue stream there, but to drive down our costs as well. So it's more about that.
So I will just give the microphone to another person.
Yeah, thank you very much for your speech. The question is, the token during this ICO you issued, is it utility or security? And what is the conditions for investors to invest in your tokens?
So, as I said, we are emitting 2 tokens. One is a profit share token. In certain jurisdictions, it's definitely a security. In Switzerland, as to the last FINMA ruling, it is one as well. And then the second token we are emitting is a utility token, which will fuel the ecosystem. And basically, players have to pay in Logi tokens to pay a transaction on the Logi chain. 2 tokens you can choose whatever you prefer to invest in.
Sven, you get a chance again. Do you have a short question or a long question? Okay, perfect.
But the answer will maybe not be short. I had already the possibility to saw your containers. Can you a little bit tell more about your hardware, because it's really awesome?
Yes, of course. This was actually my last slide. So you can see here, normally the container is about the size of 1 pallet, and it has my height because it goes into an airplane. But the future of what we think is relevant is this kind of smaller containers where you will ship products directly to the consumer. So this would be a container that will last for 3 days at a steady temperature of 2 to 5 degrees. And it will allow, for example, a company like potentially Amazon to ship your medication directly to your home. You don't have to go to a pharmacy anymore, and it holds its temperature steady, and this is very difficult to do actually. It's full of sensors, and you can track and trace almost real time, with a small delay, how your conditions of the containers are, and you recharge it simply by putting it into the fridge.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you, Carla. Thank you for the presentation.